Hi, Soapy friends. I know I'm 5 minutes early, but, well, I guess I could have tried to get the hair a little bit more kind of not lopsided. Maybe if you put it over there. My gosh. Okay, but I wanted to brag on a Soapy friend and just give a kind of couple minutes of thanks for all of your support during this crazy situation and just in general over the past year. So as you know, I broke my arm, and if you're a soap maker and you break your arm, you're like, but you can't do anything, much less make soap. Well, during, after I let everyone know about it, I had multiple soap makers reach out to me and say, let me know if I can help. I'll make your soap for you. We'll do it to your specs, things like that. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And I, kind of like, it's like, well, I need someone local and everything. And I got to thinking, aha, there's a local soap maker here, or she wants to be a soap maker and she's never really made soap before, but maybe she wants to learn. So she came over and we made 3 amazing soaps. So let me show them to you. So this is Jordan's very first soap ever, and she did an amazing job. I was able to walk her through the entire process. Here's soap number 1. And this uses Rainforest Chica clays. This is the red clay and then the purple clay with some lemongrass essential oil. Smells great. And check out how she nailed the Taiwan swirl. Oh, amazing. And then this one was really fun to make too. So these were custom orders. We did a Taiwan swirl on this one as well. And we were going for pink and yellow. But as you can see, that color on there, it didn't come out like the best, but there's a reason for that. This has oatmeal, honey, and ground calendula in it. So this order, when this customer orders, it's always super tricky to get any, nail on the head type colors because of those additives. But patchouli and orange essential oil too, both colored essential oils. Oh, it came out great. And then I'm just super excited about this one. Ooh, this. Ooh, this is the resin soap for the resin infusion tutorial. The video of making and cutting this is going to be uploaded to the resin infusion course that's available in the Best Friends Club up on the website. Rainforest Chica Brio Bronco resin. But the best part, I might, if I had 2 hands right now, this would be in my good hand, just so I could smell it all day long. The resin, this is like the most aromatic resin, and it sticks so well in soap. I'm super duper excited about this one. I'll be doing a little photo shoot with these and then getting that video lesson updated for you. So everyone that subscribes to the Best Friends Club, you'll get the completed tutorial hopefully by the end of the day today. Oh, I'm so excited. So huge thank you to Jordan for coming over and helping me make some soap when I couldn't make some soap, and for helping me get the lesson up for you and completing my promises to all my soapy friends. A huge shout out to all of you, really, for just being amazing. We are so fortunate to be a part of such a wonderful community of soap makers. You're all just really good people, and I feel so blessed to have you. And whether it's keeping me company and something of interest to look at on Facebook when, all you can do is sit on your phone and scroll, to offering to come and help me make my soap, and then to the one that did come out and help me make my soap. I am super thankful to you all. This is such a great journey to be on. I'm so excited to be on it with you. And so with that said, it is about 30 seconds until our actual go live time. So I will get started on our actual topic for the day, which is the batch record sheet. So when I realized I wouldn't be able to make soap with you all on Wednesdays, I asked you to send me some questions. What should we chat about? And let's have some soapy chats. And one of those questions was, Is there anything you wished you knew when you were starting out making soap that you wished you'd knew sooner? This soap maker says, I'm pretty new and have just made 4 test batches. I haven't started fiddling with colorants or essential oils yet. I already know about and work with master batched 1-to-1 lye water. Just starting and already master batching a 1-to-1 lye water solution. Rocking it, gal. And she's made testing different oils and butters and soap really easy with that. So I really got to thinking about this question, and the answer kind of turned into these batch record sheets, because I started writing down, okay, what do I know now that I really, really, really wish I knew then? And the number one thing was everything. But I know that's really not what she's asking for. So I did start to kind of try and narrow that down. And I wrote down understanding water content and what extra water means, and how is the water content determined, because lye calculators tend to default to a percentage of the oils, which that whole thing's weird. And I think I've talked about that before. And knowing how little water I could use and knowing how much water I could use, because water has a huge impact on your final soap. Next, I put understanding water versus oil soluble colorants. Then I said understanding temperature, in that you don't have to heat your oils up, and that, you know, temperature, it's important to understand it, but you don't have to heat everything up. Everything doesn't have to be the exact same temperature when you're mixing it. And that soaping cooler actually does give you a lot more time to work with different design techniques. And then I also put, you don't have to make soap the same way anyone else makes soap. I think that's critical. It's awesome to understand how other people make soap, but you don't have to do it the same way they do. And, you know, the list kept going on and on and on and on. And then I realized, you know, there were quite a few batches that I made in my first few years of soap making that I do not have any documentation of. There's one soap in particular. It was the very first soap I ever made with coconut milk and salt. And I had no idea what I was doing, but you know what? The soap came out amazing, and I wanted to recreate it. Can't recreate it because I have no idea what I did. So I made these for y'all. Now, these are up on the website. This is a batch record sheet, and I know I'm trying to like show you something on my phone that's a piece of paper, and I was going to do this on the computer so you could kind of see better, but I'm not quite that skilled yet. We will next week be doing some computer FaceTiming type stuff with y'all, but this batch record sheet is going to help you record everything you need to know about the soaps that you're making so you can make them later. This is also available in a bound book up on Amazon. Those links are down below in the description, but I'm going to go over for you what's on these as well as what else is in that book. There's not a whole lot of written content to the book. It really is made to be a journal for you to record your soap making journey. You can use it if you are a professional soap maker, meaning you're selling your soap and you need some GMP, good manufacturing practices, log sheets so that you can actually record and document. And if anything goes wrong with your soap, you can go back and do tracking. Even if some of your ingredients are recalled, it'll help you find what they were used in, all that good stuff. All of that information is included in the book, and details and explanations on it, as well as how I create my batch record numbers, which that was a life-changing moment for me, to have a batch number that I could look at that's printed on a bar soap and know exactly when I made that soap. That was huge. But this is the information that I have included on these batch record sheets. If you get the version that's on the website, you can download these and put them in a 3-ring binder. The back side, which I know you can't really see here, but it has this grid with kind of some room for spaces to create additional notes about how the batch went, any other ingredients I used that maybe didn't fit on the front, which has like 15 ingredient lists on it, as well as a place to sketch your design and cut on your soap. But of course, at the top, we have our batch number, product name, and then we go over, you know, recording what was the batch for. Was it for inventory? Was it for a custom order? Was it a test batch? Maybe it's something else that you were doing. Maybe you're making it for personal use, something like that. And then we have some records for dates, when you made it, when you cut it, and when it was ready to use. So when it was cured. That will really help you understand how fast it takes your soaps to cure up so that you can plan in the future for future production. It'll also help you know if one soap cures faster than another soap, why, how, and what's going on, because you can look at all of your ingredient lists in one place to find that out. I included start time, end time, and the total time so that you can track how much time it actually takes you to make the soap, so that if you do sell your soap, you can pay yourself a living wage and include that cost of your labor into your cost. Then we have molds, tools, and equipment, because have you ever made a soap and tried to remember which mold it was in? Because sometimes you need to know that. Especially if there were any issues. So I have a couple of my cavity molds that have these really wonky, weird spots on the inside, and I didn't realize it was a flaw in the mold and not a flaw in the soap. So this will help you look back on that, as well as let you go back and track maybe when your stick blender started making extra air bubbles, because you could put air bubble notes on this and then look and see if your stick blender was different than the one you're using now, you changed it, or anything like that. Then you can have method, design, and technique notes along with your super fat. I know a lot of this stuff is in your printout from your lye calculators. If you want, you can just attach that to this, but I do like to write it all out when I'm making the soap, because then it's like a double check, and that's really important and kind of critical. So if you're reading it off of one thing, measuring it, writing down, then you know what you wrote down is already in the pot. And I've included the ingredient, the percentage, the weight, the lot number, and the supplier all on here for you. There's also a place for you to record your oil temperatures, your lye solution temperatures, and the humidity. Kind of want to talk about those for just a minute, because when people post to the group and they say this happened or that happened and this overheated or why did this crack, and a lot of those questions we can't answer without some additional information, and some of that additional information is your temperature, which is important with soap making because it's a chemical reaction that in itself generates heat. So if you can record those, then when you reach out for help for something that went wrong with your soap, we have more information about what you did, so we can then help you with it. And then the humidity level, a lot of soap makers don't think about this, but the humidity of your workspace does affect your soap. Mostly it affects your soap in the cure time. It can affect the strength of your sodium hydroxide if it's been exposed to air, but I've never really noticed an issue with that. The biggest issues I've noticed with humidity in a workspace deals with the curing of the soap, and whether or not that soap developed any DOS, whether it started sweating, which can happen, especially with salt bars. Now, for those of you that make bath bombs or anything else like that, that humidity note, I wish I could point the humidity note down on the bottom. That'll really help you if you I mean, if nothing else, remind you to look at the humidity of your space and your surroundings, because your bath bombs can get all warty, and I don't do bath bombs. But you've got a place to document that now. And then at the bottom, there's some weight notes. So we have your batch weight, your yield, and your waste. Your batch weight is your total batch weight. So everything that went into the mold. That's a pretty obvious one. Your yield is how many bars of soap, or if it's a Belty soap, how many jars of soap, and what was the weight of each one of those units. So it's kind of like number of units produced for your yield. And then you have waste, which is pretty important, because you know how if you cut off the ends of your soap, or maybe you've dropped some soap bars, or maybe if you're in a column mold, the top of it, you just had to cut it off because it looks like blech. All of that is incorporated as waste. Now, of course, we can rebatch, make some great confetti soaps with those. Those are all fantastic reuses for it, but you do need to account for that waste if you are selling your soap, because that waste is still something you had to produce. It has a value to it, and that overall value affects what the final cost of your bar is. So these batch record sheets, I wish I had started using them from the start, because there's so much information on them that you're never going to remember. And a lot of beginning soap makers don't even think to write down and record. When you go back and look at a batch record sheet, you're going to know what you made, when you made it, how you made it, what you made it with, what were the conditions when you made it, what stick blender you used, what mold you used. Everything is going to be documented and recorded for you. So if anything ever goes wrong or goes really, really right with that batch of soap, you're going to know exactly what happened. And if you don't know exactly what happened, well, guess what? You have all the information necessary. You could even take this filled out sheet, take a picture of it, post it along with the soap to the group, and now we're all going to be able to help you, really, really help you, not just guess at what those bumps and bubbles might be, guess at what may or may not have caused it to crack, guess at why there's ash, guess at, there's so many variations that come into play when you're making soap. And we've even had soap makers say, hey, something went really right, but I don't know what went right or how to recreate it. I know that happened to me. This batch record sheet is going to help you figure that out and help us help you to figure it out if you get stuck on anything. So those are the new batch record sheets. They are up on the website right now. It is a paid course. It does have all of the content that's in the book that's printed up on Amazon is also available on the digital edition. So they're full duplicates of each other. These you can just print out and pop into a 3-ring binder. Or you can get the book and record a full journal for you. I'm super excited to get my copy of it. I don't even have a copy of it because they're print on demand, but I ordered a couple copies and I think we're going to have lots of fun. There's 52 sheets in there, so it's 52 batches of soap. For me personally, I'm going to use one specifically for Wet Soap Wednesday so we can flip back and look for an entire year of Wet Soap Wednesday soaps that we made together. So I'm really looking forward to that after I can get back to making soap myself, and then we can flip back and look through a full year of Wet Soap Wednesdays together. Hi, Bianca. Hi, Jordan. Thank you so much for your help with the soaps this week. Hi, Annie. Rabbit's Foot Farm is watching. Always good to see you all here. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, I am seeing comments. I don't see any actual questions come up, but go check out the Soap Makers Batch Journal up on the website or on Amazon, links below. Please send me any other questions that you'd like to address on these new Soapy Chats. And for next week's Wet Soap Wednesday Soapy Chat, we're going to start doing our lie calculator demos and explanations. And then after that, we're going to start doing some recipe evaluations from user submitted recipes. So be sure to like, follow, all that good stuff for Soapy Friends on Facebook. And I will see you next week to go over a lie calculator. Oh, also drop a comment below. Let me know which lie calculator you use. I'm going to start with soapcalc.net. That was the first one I started using. There are a couple others out there, and I will go over them as well in future editions of our Soapy Chats. So if there's any lie calculator you would like reviewed, drop a link to it. I'll go check it out and let you know what I think about it. All right, until next week when we pop over to SoapCalc, explain what all those crazy numbers mean, and talk about fatty acid profiles. Have a fabulous week and happy soaping, my dear Soapy friends. Thank you for all your support. See you next week. Bye-bye.